Well, here we are back up on the fuel tank again. I'm going to check the fuel level again. And it looks like still just a little over the halfway point there. The fuel level's about right there, just above that plug right there. The plug is about the center point of the tank, so about half a tank, a little over. Okay, so today I'm kind of out at the farm by myself. Dad had a doctor's appointment, and my sister and my mom took him up to it. So today I had a slightly different kind of project. I replaced the front brakes and rotors on my minivan here. If anybody's actually done that kind of thing before, it's not a overtly technical job. If you've got even a slightly mid to moderate amount of experience with mechanics, or even if you know quite a bit about hand tools, it's definitely not a difficult job. So it had been a few years since I've done anything with brakes on a vehicle, and the only issue that I ran into was putting that little anti-vibration spring back on after I had the brakes and rotors all put back together. That was a little difficult. I did have to look up a video on how to do that one because I'd never worked on that style before. But once I saw how to do it, it was really obvious and very easy to do it. So not an overtly difficult job. But the brakes were really bad. They were grinding quite noisily when I would step on the brakes. I had ordered a replacement set of brakes for it last fall already, and it was actually supposed to be the first project that we did in the rebuild on the garage over here. And well, we still haven't gotten everything cleaned up on the other side yet, so we can actually put something inside and work on it. But that was my intention, to have that be the first job that we worked on. I ended up doing it outside the garage, but that's what it is. So that's probably, to clean everything up inside is probably going to be one of this fall's projects. But yeah, like I said, I had ordered brakes for it last fall, and yesterday we came out, and I was going to do it yesterday, and then we found out that the brakes and rotors that I had ordered last fall are actually not for this minivan. It's actually for the previous body style, the 95 to 2000 body style. And we actually do have one of those vans too, so I wasn't too terribly upset about it, but that van actually has almost brand new components on it already. We're not driving it right now because I need to do some engine work on that one. So I went back to town last night, and we stopped over at O'Reilly Auto Parts, and we did pick up the parts that we need. And I came back out this morning after I dropped my wife off at work and did the job. And actually it took less than an hour to do both sides, and I was kind of surprised that I did it as fast as I did. I took it out on the road and worked the brakes several times. It seems like I got really good solid brakes. You do want to always make sure that you retorque your lug nuts on your tires when you put it back together, and actually the bolts that hold the calipers actually have a torque spec on them as well. So the lug nuts on this particular vehicle, and actually it is the lug nut torque on a lot of current make vehicles, is 100 foot-pounds. So I torqued the lug nuts back. I actually torqued the lug nuts several times because I did have all the way down to the rotors off, and I torqued them probably about 4 or 5 times. You know, spin a few figure eights with it, check it, torque them a little bit more, drive it a little bit, torque them a little bit more. And the caliper bolts that hold it are 125 foot-pounds. Well, I had locked those down pretty good with the impact wrench, and yeah, they're definitely 125 and maybe a little bit more. Those never even budged. But when I get back to Dickinson, I will get my torque wrench out, and I will double check the lug nut torques to make sure that they're still at 100. I might drive it a few hundred miles, check them one more time, and then I'll probably check the caliper bolts again to make sure that they're where they're supposed to be. I don't want it to come apart on me suddenly on the middle of the driving someplace on the interstate or something, have a wheel fly off. That would not be a good day. So, But that's what I did today. I'm just about to wrap this up. This project's pretty much all done. And we'll do the rear brakes some other time. They will look like they were really good. Rear brakes, generally you replace those every other time that you replace the front brakes. Anyway, that's what it is with the drum brakes. I know this also has rear disc brakes on it, so that's the second vehicle that I've had that actually had rear disc brakes on it. My 99 Silverado is the first one that I had. I did do a brake job on the rear on that one several years ago. It's going to probably need new brakes all the way around here pretty quick again too. So we'll just see what the rear ones look like when I go to do the front ones on that truck. That one's also probably going to need to get front wheel bearings. They're kind of making a little bit of noise, like they might be a little bit dry. So that's going to be a project for another day as well too. I actually have the brakes for that truck, but I don't have wheel bearings for it yet. So when I got all that together, that'll be a project. Maybe that will be the first project in the new garage. We'll see. So, well, thanks for watching, and you all have a good day.